In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 5 best upgrades for your Specialized Gen 3 Levo. Okay, Specialized Gen 3 Levo, one of the most popular bikes around, my favorite, mountain bike, really, and I got the high-end one, the S-Works, and I'm going to tell you about 5 upgrades for this baby. And I always recommend to people on a budget that, hey, just buy the $5,000 one, the $6,000 one, and upgrade the key points that matter. And here are the ones that matter. So my first upgrade recommendation for you guys is the rear shock. So the rear shock is the Fox X2, in most cases, cheaper versions of this. And this had some reliability issues, as you use this bike a lot. And I think a lot of them, you have them rebuilt and they still leak air. It's now June 2023 and they have a fix for it. So if you have the old one, just get the new one. It should be good. But if you wanted something different while you're waiting, or you wanted a different level of performance, there's a few options, and what I can recommend, one is the Push. Push Industries really has Levo tunes. I'm trying a different spring on it right now, but what's special about it has so much damping control, important for a heavy bike, and you have two completely an A-B selector, different set of settings on A and different settings on B, and it doesn't have to be lockout. It's, for me, it's chunky and flowy. And it's really an amazing experience. Me and my son are just blown away by the traction and the capabilities of this rear shock. The front fork, as long as you have a Fox 38, you're good. You don't need to worry about that one. The second thing I'd recommend to you guys, especially on the high-end versions, is the brake rotor. So the brake rotor, I finally switched over. This has some of the best brakes around, the Magura MT7 with a floating rotor, 200 millimeters, and I was fine for a while. But lately I've been doing some steep stuff, some hill repeats on steep stuff, and my hands were getting tired. The braking was still there, but I'm like, man, I wish I didn't have this fatigue, because descending 6,000, 7,000 feet, it just wears you down. So and it's a simple upgrade. All I did was I upgraded to a 220 rotor. So and oh my God, mind-blowing. What's going on? The rear, you don't need to worry about that. And notice I don't have a floating one on the front. I just got a traditional one. You can get this from Magura, I believe, and this one is a TRP right now. What you need is a thick rotor, not the traditional SRAM or Shimano. It has to be either TRP or Magura. And I don't like the floating because it does have a float. It knocks. When you hold your brakes on the front, it feels like your headset's loose. On the rear, that's fine. Over there, floating gives you maximum braking performance because the pads the rotor can conform to the pads, perfect alignment. All right, and then if you had the Magura, go with the HC3 because they have adjustable power, adjustable reach. It's just an amazing lever. And it's a one-finger lever. Number 3 upgrade for you guys is the dropper post. The dropper post, this one, and what I'm saying is the reverb has a reliability issue where it sags after a while. And what I can recommend are 2 posts. Also, the stack height is not the best. So, I think this is a 150. When I go to a 1-up or the P&W, I can go 170 or 180. So what you want to do is the minimum stack height with the most drop. Because the insertion length is also limited because there's a motor there. So believe it or not, with a 1-up dropper, which is cheap, $250 or something, I can go a 180 on this bike, and that's pretty remarkable considering that, hey, there's a motor in there. Just very efficient with space, and I think much more reliable than this one. The next upgrade I can recommend is the tires. Admittedly, the tires are quite good on this bike. 2.6 Eliminator and Butcher T9, and they have this new rubber that is so good. It's really giving their bikes a competitive advantage. But there's 2 things going on with it. Is as things get loose, and if you don't like 2.6, they don't dig in as much, you're kind of floaty, then you want maybe a 2.5 or a 2.4. It'll allow you to dig in a little better. So the rear, if you're sliding, if you're doing steep stuff, and you want to maintain control on your rear, get a knobbier tire, something with better braking. Because once your rear breaks loose, control is kind of hard to regain at that point. The front, on the other hand, you want something better. You don't want to be sliding out and whatnot. Especially right now, spring to summer, conditions are becoming hero to zero, meaning great to hurt you. What I recommend for you guys is the Specialized CANNIBAL. Specialized CANNIBAL is their downhill tire. I think it's a 2.5, but it's not super big. But oh my God, you know, people I'm neck and neck with on all the berms and turns, I'm leaving behind because this thing is so predictable. It has so much grip. I think it just has a T9 compound all around, and that it really doesn't slip. It's so cool. It digs in as well. It's not super big. So if you're on a 2.6 butcher, you want something better. You don't need to go to Asseguys and go to the different brand. Just go to the CANNIBAL, and it's a 1,400 gram tire. But with an e-bike, you're okay. Okay, the last recommendation is the brakes. So the brakes, if you have the Magura, you're fine. You just need to pump up your rotor, maybe your levers, and make sure you have the perfect bleed. These things, when they're bled properly, they work so well. But if you have the SRAM, you know, you got the 5 grand one or 6 grand one, you could do a whole lot better. And what do we got for you? I would say the TRP DHR Evo. This brake is so good that they were able to launch a whole new drivetrain from a success, just so they can match their brakes. So go for that TRP DHR Evo. You know, thick rotors, big rotors. They dissipate heat, very consistent. You don't get tired. It's just a good brake. Another brake I can recommend is Shimano. Any Shimano is good. You know, the XTR, the Saint are good as long as it's 4-piston. But you can go all the way down to the SLX, DX. I think they have an e-bike brake. They're all good. You know, just select your brake pad, 4-piston, big rotor. You know, 220 in front if you can, and you'll be happy. The last brake that we have, I see pretty popular, is the Hayes Dominion. You know, Hayes has come back from the depths of purgatory to the rising phoenix, because everyone who uses it are like, wow, this is good, man, this is good. So the Hayes Dominion, yeah, you'd be okay with that one as well. Okay, so that's my wrap up of the best upgrades for your Gen 3 Levo, making the best for now even better. But really impressive bike, because it's a 2 years old. At least I have 2,500 miles on this thing, and it's still one of the best bikes around.